Let's turn to Afghanistan now, where a senior Taliban leader has said the group has surrounded Panjshir, the only remaining province resisting its rule. And they have called on anti-Taliban fighters there to negotiate a peaceful settlement and to put down their weapons. And according to two resistance leaders, at least 7 Taliban fighters were killed during an attempt to advance into the valley. In the capital Kabul, Taliban leaders say they are working on forming an inclusive government that will respect people's rights and freedoms within the Islamic law. And the group is expected to name a supreme leader soon. For the latest on the ground, let's go live to CGTN reporter Abdul Hadi Dariz in Kabul. Abdul, hello there. The Taliban says the formation of the new government is in its final stage, and people in the world are waiting for the result indeed. What more can you tell us?
Hello, everyone. Yesterday the Taliban sources have said that the formation of new government is in the last stage. Their consolation in Kandahar, in Kabul, is all over, and they are going to form a government which will be acceptable for for every Afghan, the category of every Afghan society, from each tribe, from each political belief. People will be part of that government. But 2 points they have also added right here, that there won't be anyone from the last cabinet, because most of the people who were part of the former cabinet, they were not absolutely transparent people. So as per them, everyone will be there from each political party, from each tribe. People will be right there, but there won't be the people from the last cabinet, from the people who were part of the cabinets in last 20 years. When it comes to the public agrees with this point as well, because the people were not happy from the activities which were done by the cabinets in the past, and there were claims of corruption and not full transparency from them. The second point that shall be mentioned right here, they said that the women will be part of the new formed government, but they will not be at the highest level. They will not be on the cabinet and minister level. So these are the two major points which were mentioned by them. As per them, the new formed government will be announced in a day or two, and it will be acceptable for every Afghan and hopefully for the global community as well.
Right, and as they are trying to form the new government, they are facing resistance in the country as well. Taliban says they've surrounded Panjshir Valley, the only province resisting their rule. And there are reports saying that the talks between the Taliban and the resistance fighters have failed. So what's happening on the ground? Is there any fightings ongoing? By the way,
Taliban,
can you tell us what's going on behind you? What's the voice talking about?
Yesterday we had a voice was released via media and social media from Amir Khan Muttaqi, one of high-ranked officials in Taliban Islamic movement of Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan. And in that wise, he addressed the entire nation, especially the public, the people of Panjshir, that they have tried their best for negotiation with them to come to a peaceful solution. And in his address and in this wise, he once again told the people that still they are not in favor of fighting, in favor of war against their own people, against the people of Panjshir. And he asked them to he asked the people of Panjshir to advise their elders, their leaders, not to go for war, They asked them to be part of this new formed government and to come under the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan peacefully. If it is not done, in that case, if they doesn't understand, so unfortunately, he used the word unfortunately in his speech, Mr. Amir Khan Muttaqi, that if this negotiation fails for the last time, then the last solution will be war, and there will be a battle, and this is something unlikely. The Taliban doesn't want that. So it was a friendly warning, you can say that, or a request, or a warning and a type of request from the Taliban. Also, some exchange of fires has also been reported since yesterday. There is an area between Panjshir and in Kapisa. There is an area now named Gulbahar. That is the front line at the moment, and people right there are also tired of war, and they feel really worried about a huge battle, a huge fight. But Taliban have given their last warning to the people in a friendly manner. Please let your leader to understand the situation. The entire country is under one rule. You also come. There is an amnesty for everybody. You will also part of the government. So let's hope what happens, even though the leaders from the other side, from the resistance side, also said that in past few days they have said that we are close to some conclusion. In 80% of the negotiations were good, but still that did not work, and they said that's still ready for resistance. So let's hope for something peacefully.
Right.
But if that doesn't happen, again, the fire exchange and a war is also expected today or in upcoming few days.
Right. Thank you very much, reporter Abdul Hadi Dariz reporting from Kabul. Now, a top U.S. general says there is a possibility of military coordination with the Taliban to counter the ISIS-K in the future.
Any possibility of coordination against ISIS-K with them?
It's possible.
Going forward, Bob, I would not want to make any predictions. I would tell you that we're going to do everything that we can to make sure we remain focused on ISIS-K, understand that network, and at the time of our choosing in the future, hold them accountable for what they've done.
But the Pentagon said as many as 250 Americans who wanted to leave Kabul are still stranded in Afghanistan. And the Biden administration also says the Taliban have promised to keep letting Afghans who worked for the U.S. leave. The United States and coalition allies airlifted more than 123,000 people out of Kabul's airport in the final days of evacuation. Last week, suicide bombings claimed by the Islamic State extremist group ISIS-K killed nearly 200 Afghans and 13 U.S. soldiers. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has weighed in as well on the U.S. withdrawal and conflict in Afghanistan.
20 лет.
American troops were present in Afghanistan for 20 years. Over those years they tried, and this can be said without offending anyone, to civilize people by imposing their norms, standards of life and politics. This has led to tragedies and losses for those behind this, the United States, and for the people of Afghanistan. It has resulted to zero, if not a negative result.
All right, here's a look at some prominent Taliban figures.
Hibatullah Akhundzada became the Supreme Commander in May 2016. He holds final authority over political, religious and military affairs. He's believed to be aged about 60 and his whereabouts is unknown. He has 3 deputies. His military commander is Mullah Muhammad Yaqub, the son of Taliban founder Mullah Omar. He was proposed as the overall leader during various succession tussles, but he put forward Akhundzada in 2016 because he felt he himself lacked battlefield experience and was too young. Yaqub is believed to be in his 30s. His appearance and current location are unknown. Sirajuddin Haqqani is in charge of financial and military assets. He's wanted by the FBI over allegations including planning an assassination attempt in 2008 on then Afghan President Hamid Karzai. Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar is the most outwardly facing Taliban figure in the higher ranks. He's one of the co-founders. He's now the political chief and has been instrumental in peace talks in Doha. Baradar has returned to Afghanistan and is widely believed he'll head the executive if one is created. Zabihullah Mujahid is the main spokesman after the fall of Kabul. He set up a news conference from the presidential palace in the aftermath of the takeover. For years he'd been a shadowy figure, issuing statements on behalf of the Taliban.
For some analysis into this, I'm joined by Mr. Zakir Jalali, a Kabul-based expert on international relations. Mr. Jalali, Taliban say they will soon announce the new government, and I think the whole world are waiting for the result. What do you think this government will look like?
Thank you for providing the opportunity. Look, the Taliban that are going to form the new government, they came to Kabul as a result of a military takeover. There is no sort of political resolution or political transition of power. You know that the former Afghan president Ashraf Ghani fled the country, and a political vacuum was created in Kabul on 15 August, and Taliban forces, they were forced to enter Kabul city and to secure people's life and governmental institutions. Therefore, I think the form of government the Taliban will form, which is expected, that will be announced very soon, that will be a sort of, we may have a sort of division between a supreme leader, that would be Sheikh Haibatullah Akhundzada, and also we will have an executive branch in Kabul that will be led by Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, and he will actually lead the cabinet and the governmental institutions. In this governmental, in the Kabul, in the executive branch, there will be different faces will appear in that. Different Afghans will have the opportunity to play a role in the government, as we have heard from Taliban sources, particularly in technical sections. And also, they have said that they will give place for those Afghans who are not notorious, who have not cooperated with the invasion, and those Afghans who are committed to the national interest of Afghanistan, and they are with good reputation.
Right, and we have to see that the majority of the Taliban's 26-member ruling council is expected to serve in the Afghan cabinet, but most of them are fighters, and there are concerns about their ability to run the government. Do you share those concerns?
Actually, when we take into account the structure of Taliban, particularly post-2001, when Taliban were involved in resistance against the foreign occupation and also the former Afghan government, they had a sort of shadow government, same like we have governments in the world. The 26-member ruling council, or the high leadership council of the Taliban, the role they were playing was actually like a supervisory council that was looking after things carried out by different commissions, which were actually we may have a resemblance between them and the like the ministries. So it is not necessarily that all of them were fighters. We have religious scholars in them. We have community leaders among the ruling council of the Taliban. Taliban have different commissions for different affairs, and one of those commissions, which is very powerful and very dominant, that is military commission, which is actually playing or used to play the role of like defense minister, and now most probably the head of the military commission is going to become the next defense minister of Afghanistan. So in this way, the ruling council of Taliban or members of the council, they are not necessarily military people. They may be scholars, they may be civilian people, some of them may be military men. And the second point is, I think, which is very important, that is that Taliban have promised that they will they invite all the workforce of the Afghan government, the people who used to work in the government previously, they are allowed and they are invited to come to their portfolios and to play their role. Definitely there will be changes in the leadership, in the political positions in the government, but the workforce, they will remain the same people and they will continue their duty. Therefore, I don't share the concern that the people who in the ruling council of Taliban, they may be military people and they will not be able to run governmental institutions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Zakir Jalali, Kabul-based expert on international relations. Thank you very much for your insight. You're now watching Global Watch on CGTN. Still ahead.